Hi, I'm Vanessa Ford. I'm the Education Director at the Gadsden Art Center Museum, and I'm here to welcome you to the Art of Dining Picnic. Today I'm at the Black Fig, who has provided our wonderful meal today, and I'm going to go ahead and bring you inside, and we're going to meet the chef and owner, Mark Suber.
Hi, Vanessa.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good, how about you?
Doing pretty good. Excited to talk to you today about food. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your restaurant here, which is, I guess, not a real restaurant.
No, it's not a restaurant. We do what's basically called home meal replacement. You come in and we've got salads and appetizers, dips, all we make in the back. We do sell Bradley sausage now since Tomato Land closed. And we have entrees from soup to nuts, basically. Anything from seared salmon to casseroles to shepherd's pies to beef, either steak or a beef stew. Pretty much changes every week.
Okay, so you have a new menu every week.
Well, some staples stay the same, but mostly we have new things come out every week.
Okay, cool. So how do you decide what to switch out?
Well, we have staples like chicken and wild rice casserole that is always a favorite.
Of course.
So we'll keep things like that in here, and then we'll have maybe swap out pork dishes and beef dishes and chicken dishes, fish dishes, shrimp, sometimes pasta, sometimes rice. And then we have a variety of vegetables we put on there so you can mix and match to make your meal.
Nice.
And we make it all in the back. I have to give a shout out to our staff. It's very creative. We give them a pretty good license to create, make things. It might not be a classic dish, but it does go through, the chef does check for quality control.
Of course.
Make sure it's good, and then we put it out.
So all these things are designed to be reheated easily.
Yeah, we kind of pay attention to what sits in the fridge a while and doesn't change textures or flavors.
Right.
And what our customers can heat up at home and still be as good as when we put it out. So we try to keep that in mind when we're making this.
So you're saying you're perfect to make the meal for the art of dining. This just worked out so perfectly for you. You are already prepared, ready for this takeout idea.
Well, I really like Gadsden Arts. It's a fantastic organization.
We like you guys too.
I'm from Quincy, so I'm really happy to have that.
So were you born and raised in Quincy?
I was born in Quincy and started attending McClay here in Tallahassee in 5th grade.
Okay. Wow.
Which is only 10 years ago.
Yep.
The restaurant business would be here.
So what do we have in our Art of Dining totes that everybody picked up today? I know you guys are already seeing it, but just tell me what we have today.
Well, everybody's going to get our Black Fig house salad, which is mixed greens, toasted almonds, feta cheese, dried cranberries, and shredded carrots.
Okay.
We have a honey balsamic vinaigrette that we put with it. The people that choose the meat entree will get a filet mignon with a Merlot reduction sauce, and smashed garlic potatoes, and some sauteed green beans with caramelized onions. The people that choose the vegetable option will have a roasted vegetable lasagna and some asparagus with some herb butter.
Okay.
And then everybody gets the double chocolate bread pudding.
Is that a favorite?
Oh yeah. Just so
Is
you
that
can
one of the
barely
staples on the menu?
Yeah, you can't get in the car after you know that. It's a toughie.
Well, so from what I understand, we are going to actually see how to make a couple of these items, right?
Yes, ma'am. If
So-
you're there with us while we do it.
Yeah. So in your Art of Dining totes, there's recipe cards for a couple of these items, so that way you can make them. And we are actually going to go back to the kitchen and learn how to make a couple of these. So
Welcome in. Come on. I thought I would show a less expensive way to do your fillets. This is a whole beef tenderloin. And it is not clean. What we'll do, if you look over here, you'll see this part right here that's coming apart. That is called the chain. Now, don't throw that away. You can either make beef sauce out of it. You can clean these little pieces off and have little pieces of meat you can make into like a beef stroganoff or beef stew. And put it in the freezer till you have enough. And now what we're doing, we are removing the silver skin, which is a very fibrous tendon sheath that goes on the tenderloin. And just for your information, pork tenderloin looks just about like this, but a lot smaller. And you can go through the same process with cleaning it. It won't have as much of the silver skin. Now, here's the thing that some people do, some people don't. If you've been in the store and you've seen the big fillets that are really wide, they're cutting them off this end with this, what they call the thumb right here, to make them more uniform. Or if I was going to cook it whole, I usually take this part off myself. I don't always do it here, but this goes with your pieces here. At this point, you've got a tenderloin roast. Beef tenderloin roast. Turn on the other side. And try to get some of this fat off of it. Or most of it conglomerates. Some people like to leave that on. Okay, there we go.
Nice and clean.
All right, so now what we're going to do it is close to Valentine's Day. Anyway, you get the point.
Yeah, you just keep going.
Keep going. Okay.
Beautiful.
There you have it. What I like to do is actually salt them the day before I'm going to cook them. Now what you do not want to do is I don't like to put a bunch of oil and stuff in the pan at first because it doesn't give you a very good sear. So what I do is I put a little bit of oil, just a little bit. And then we're going to wait for the pan to get hot.
Alright, my friends.
So we got a pretty screaming hot pan.
It's smoking.
Let that sear on one side, not moving it until it gets a little crust on it.
Perfect. Alright, what we got over here?
Well, we've got a couple cloves of garlic. We're not going to put it in there yet because we don't want it to get too burned. And some rosemary for a little aromatics. And you'll see in a minute, after we leave it here for a minute, you'll see it start coming up. Cooked part. Well, it gets kind of gray and then it's going to come up a little bit farther. We're going to put our aromatics, the garlic and the butter in, the rosemary after we turn it. That's to release the oils of the garlic.
Smashing some garlic.
Smashing some garlic. What could be more fun? Now we're gonna a nice little crust.
Beautiful.
Put it back on the other side. Tenderloin is one of the less fatty of the steaks. So it's not going to hurt to put a little butter on it. It's not going to soak in or anything. It's just going to give those little cracks. And now we got some rosemary we're going to put in. That's going to give you, since you're behind the camera, you'll be able to smell it pretty well. Pretty shortly.
I'll tell y'all, it smells delicious.
Put the butter in it, it'll get coming down some. It's going to be cooked rare because whoever's going to pick it up, like I'll put this in the fridge tonight and we'll put it out in the case tomorrow. So if they take it home, I don't want it to be already, medium, but by the time they heat it up, it'll be well done. If we don't want to do that, so we're going to cook it pretty rare.
Right.
Give that a couple minutes on that side. Then I'm going to sear around the edges.
So that's why we use the tongs, right?
Yes, ma'am. Of course, I think I burned my hands many times. I don't have any feeling in my fingers, so I'll probably be doing my hands.
Don't do that.
Nope, I'm not going to do that.
Let's not burn anything.
And
Wow.
what I would do if this was at my house and I were cooking like this, I would probably take it out off the stove now and turn the heat off. And I would, of course, use a rag to prevent those so-called burns.
Right.
And I would put it in the oven. Just like that.
Finish it off there.
And I would check it probably every 5 minutes at a temperature of 400 till it gets to your temperature with a thermometer. It still cooks after you take it out to about 10 degrees higher. So the medium rare will be around 135 after you let it sit. You want it to sit for a while so the juices get back into the steak. And then if you take it out 120, 125, you're going to get 130 steak. And you hear different.
So good in here right now.
It does smell. Now we're going to make a little Merlot sauce.
Merlot sauce.
Yes, it's a Merlot reduction. So, and we don't have time here to reduce it the whole way, but we're going to show you how to get it started. And the directions are on the recipe card you'll have in your toast. So, first thing we're going to do, in a small pan over here, we're going to start reducing the Merlot wine.
Do you have a preference on this Merlot?
I do not, but you can, whichever one you think you'd like to drink. Because if you think about it, you're reducing, concentrating the flavor. So if you get a not so hot Merlot and you reduce it, it's going to be twice as not so hot. What we're going to do with that wine, to infuse it with a little flavor, we're going to put a couple of sprigs of thyme in here. And a bay leaf.
A bay leaf, you say?
Yes, and then you've got some, see black peppercorns? Not very many, but it does impart some flavor in it. Have another pot. I'm going to put about a tablespoon of butter in there. When the butter gets hot enough, it's just foaming now, so when the foam subsides a little bit, we're going to go ahead and put the mushrooms in. Dinner time. Okay, now we're going to put our mushrooms in.
What kind of mushrooms are we using?
These are white button mushrooms. You can use any kind you like. You like portobellos, which have a heartier, meatier flavor. You can use those. You can use creminies. Whatever kind you want, really. So we're going to cook these.
How long is it for?
Till they release their juice and then they reabsorb them and evaporate. So we're going to put the shallots in before that. We're just trying to get a head start on these guys.
Alright. Mushrooms first, shallot second.
Correct.
You heard. Where's this recipe come from?
I don't know. I think Sarah makes it this way. I don't have a recipe for mine, so I asked her to write one down. It's been really good with Jenny and Sarah here because Jenny's our general manager. They are very good at writing down recipes. I sort of just cook it and don't write them down. So I'm going to make it more consistent by having recipes all the time.
That can help for sure. So do you normally not measure?
Me?
Yeah.
No, measured taste. That's pretty much done. What I'll do now, actually it's not on the recipe card. But what I'll do now,
We're getting secret.
is I'm going to deglaze the pan with this beef stock, some of it. What that does is take up all those little bits of mushroom and shallot that are stuck to the bottom, which adds another little level of flavor. So, now we're pretty well set until that reduces.
Alright, so we've got all our beef stock in there.
This is where we're going to make a cornstarch slurry, cornstarch and water.
Alright, so we got our mushrooms, our shallots, our beef broth, all that in there.
All that in there. Okay, so now, presupposing this wine is done, I'm just going to strain it. See how it's kind of thin? You're going to want to thicken it up a little bit. It's going to boil.
Cornstarch and water.
And now we're going to add about a quarter cup of cream. Let that cook for a second. See the bubbles are slower to come up and a little bit bigger. That means that's thickening up a little bit. Okay, and to finish up this sauce, we're going to throw a little bit of butter in it, probably 2 tablespoons.
Once it's in that big boil.
Yep. And you turn it down just so it sort of incorporates into the sauce. And once that melts, we'll have a shiny sauce. We've done all we're supposed to do. We actually happen to have one that's already done. So here's the final product. Now we're going to check on our steak. You want to get some mushrooms in there as well as the sauce. There you go. And of course you got to have some greenery on that as well. And there you have it.